Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News, an Indian perspective on All India Radio. This is Saira Mujtaba, bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. India's Natu Natu song from the film RRR and documentary short film The Elephant Whisperers win Oscar in 95th Academy Awards ceremony in Los Angeles. Former French Prime Minister Edouard Philippe to visit India from 14th to 17th of March to boost bilateral economic ties. Nepali Congress leader Ramchandra Paudar sworn in as President of Nepal. South Korea and United States kick off their largest joint military exercise. Mastermind of Karachi police office attack killed in encounter. Bangladesh Rapid Action Battalion arrests 9 members of terror outfit Jamaatul Ansar fil Hind al-Sharqiyya. Fourth and final test match of the Border Gavaskar Trophy between India and Australia ends in a draw in Ahmedabad. And India qualify for World Cricket Test Championship final to face Australia at Oval in London from 7th June to 11th. And now the news in detail. At the 95th Academy Awards ceremony in Los Angeles, India's Natu Natu song from S.S. Rajamouli's film RRR today created history by winning an Oscar for the Best Original Song. Another Indian entry in the Academy Awards, The Elephant Whisperers, also won an Oscar in the Best Documentary Short Film category. This 41-minute short documentary film by filmmaker Kartiki Gonzalez and producer Guneet Monga explores the bond between Raghu, an orphaned baby elephant, and his caretakers. We have a desk report.
The most prestigious Oscar Awards ceremony brought a special sunrise for Asia, while RRR became the first Indian feature film to win an Oscar for its song Natu Natu. The Elephant Whisperers won Oscar for Best Documentary Short Film. And history was created when Everything Everywhere All at Once, also from Asia, swept the awards, winning in 7 categories, including Best Picture, Best Actress and Best Supporting Actor. Before winning the award, Natu Natu song was also performed on stage amidst big applause. Bollywood star Deepika Padukone, who introduced the performance, called the song a total Minister Narendra Modi said the popularity of Natu Natu is global and it will be remembered for years to come. Composer of the song M.M. Keeravani and lyricist Chandra Bose received the award. Keeravani said he grew up listening to the Carpenters and went on to sing his acceptance speech to the tune of Top of the World by the Carpenters.
There was only one wish on my mind. So was Rajamouli's and my family's. RRR has to win, pride of every Indian.
Natu Natu beat Lady Gaga's Hold My Hand and Rihanna's Lift Me Up. It was the first song from an Indian production to ever be nominated for an Oscar. Coming to Everything Everywhere All at Once. The lead actress Michelle Yeoh made history, becoming first woman of Asian descent to win an Oscar for Best Actress. Yeoh was among 4 Asian actresses nominated for Oscars this year, the most ever. Her co-star Ke Huy Quan won the Best Supporting Actor award. The movie also won in the category of Best Picture, Best Director, Original Screenplay, Supporting Actress and Editing. Tripti Srivastav, News Desk.
Former French Prime Minister Edouard Philippe will visit India from the 14th of March to the 17th of March to boost bilateral economic ties, particularly cooperation on ports and decentralized cooperation between local governments. He is currently the mayor of Le Havre, France's largest commercial port city. During his visit, Edouard Philippe will travel to Delhi and Mumbai. Philippe will hold a meeting with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to exchange views on tackling major global challenges at a time when India holds the G20 presidency and the outlook for the France-India strategic partnership, which marks its 25th anniversary this year. He will meet Union Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Sarbanand Sonowal, to discuss ports cooperation, particularly with regard to the implementation of the Indo-French roadmap on the blue economy and ocean governance. Notably, Edouard Philippe served as the Prime Minister of French President Emmanuel Macron's government from May 2017 to July 2020. During that period, the two nations witnessed the deepening of the Indo-French strategic partnership and the launch of France's Indo-Pacific strategy. Over 59,000 crore rupees worth of defence exports have been made by the country since financial year 2017-18. This was stated by India's Minister of State for Defence, Ajay Bhatt, in a written reply in Rajya Sabha on Monday. He said, defence exports worth over 13,000 crore rupees have been made in this financial year. Defence exports are being made to more than 80 countries all over the world. The minister said the government has taken various steps to improve Indian defence products and make them globally competitive. He said the government has focused on the indigenization of various defence items to achieve self-reliance. He said the new technologies developed by DRDO are transferred to the industries on a regular basis. The Indian government has estimated that there will be a global demand for nearly 3.7 million skilled and trained workforce in the coming 5 years in 16 countries. This information was given by Skill Development and Entrepreneurship Minister Dharmendra Pradhan in a written reply in Lok Sabha on Monday. He said National Skill Development Corporation International has conducted a study to ascertain skilled workforce requirements, including Australia, Canada, Germany, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Malaysia, Singapore, Sweden, the United States of America, the United Arab Emirates and the United Kingdom. Mr. Pradhan said that his ministry is providing upskilling and reskilling opportunities to the youth, including returned expatriates, through various skilling initiatives. The Indian government has decided to wind up all the overseas India tourism offices before the end of this month. In a written reply, the Minister of Tourism, G. Kishan Reddy, said in Lok Sabha that the total number of sanctioned posts in overseas India tourism offices is 31 and 6 officers are presently posted in overseas India tourism offices. He further said that the Ministry of External Affairs has designated tourism officers in all the important source markets so as to carry out overseas promotional activities to promote India as a holistic destination in the tourism generating markets to increase India's share of the global tourism market. An international conference on shared Buddhist heritage will be held in New Delhi on Tuesday with a focus on India's civilizational connect with the Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO Nations 2023. The aim of the conference is to re-establish trans-cultural links and seek out commonalities between Buddhist art of Central Asia, art styles, archaeological sites, and antiquity in various museum collections of the SCO countries. The event under India's leadership of SCO will bring together Central Asian, East Asian, South Asian and Arab countries on a common platform to discuss shared Buddhist heritage. The SCO countries comprise member states, observer states and dialogue partners, including China, Russia and Mongolia. The two-day program is being organized by the Ministry of Culture, the Ministry of External Affairs and the International Buddhist Confederation. A number of Indian scholars of Buddhism will also participate in the event. Participants will also have the opportunity to tour some of the historical sites of Delhi. India's Ayush Minister Sarbanand Sonowal on Monday stressed on utilizing yoga for world peace and the betterment of humanity. Inaugurating the Yog Mahotsav 2023 at Talkatoora Stadium in Delhi, Mr. Sonowal lauded Prime Minister Modi's vision for enabling the country's leadership in Yoga, Ayurveda and traditional knowledge healthcare systems. And now in today's Hotspot section, we bring your news commentary on takeaways from Australian Prime Minister's visit to India.
At the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, paid a state visit to India from the 8th to the 11th of March. Prime Minister Albanese was accompanied by Minister for Trade and Tourism Dawn Farrell, Minister for Resources Madeleine King and a high-level official delegation and a large business delegation. Prime Minister Albanese visited Ahmedabad, Mumbai and New Delhi on his first bilateral visit to India. Addressing a joint press meeting, the Prime Minister said,
प्रधानमंत्री एल्बनीज़ी की इस यात्रा से इस श्रृंखला का शुभारंभ हो रहा है। भारत में उनका आगमन होली के दिन हुआ। और उसके बाद हमने मिलकर क्रिकेट के मैदान में पे कुछ समय बिताया। कलर्स, कल्चर और क्रिकेट का यह सेलिब्रेशन एक प्रकार से भारत और ऑस्ट्रेलिया की मित्रता के जोश और उल्लास का उत्तम प्रतीक है।
The first annual summit was held in New Delhi on the 10th of March. Welcoming the sustained momentum in bilateral and multilateral cooperation, the Prime Ministers agreed that the India-Australia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership was beneficial not only for both countries, but also for an open, inclusive, stable and prosperous Indo-Pacific, where the rules-based international order is upheld. Prime Minister Albanese expressed Australia's strong support for India's G20 presidency and its priorities for the forum in 2023. Prime Minister Modi briefed Prime Minister Albanese on India's hosting of the Voice of Global South Summit to hear the ideas of the developing world in health, food security, affordable access to energy, climate finance and technologies and economic growth. The Prime Ministers welcomed the entry into force of the landmark India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, ECTA, on the 29th of December 2022. They also noted with satisfaction the resolution of the long-standing issue of taxation of offshore income of Indian firms under the India-Australia Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement. They looked forward to greater two-way trade and business engagement under ECTA. The Prime Ministers welcomed the convening of the India-Australia CEO Forum and encouraged businesses on both sides to cultivate links, explore emerging economic and investment opportunities, including as an outcome of ECTA, and to leverage the significant complementarities of the two economies. The Prime Ministers highlighted the significance of robust bilateral trade and investment flows. They welcomed initiatives to strengthen regional cooperation through the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework and the Supply Chain Resilience Initiative between India, Australia and Japan. Both nations expressed satisfaction at the progress under the Memorandum of Understanding between India's Khanij Bidesh Limited and Australia's Critical Minerals Office and looked forward to the continued development of critical minerals supply chains. Both the countries emphasized the importance of implementing all outcomes of the 12th WTO Ministerial Conference, particularly to have a fully and well-functioning dispute settlement system by 2024. The Prime Ministers recognized the urgent need to address climate change, implementing the Paris Agreement and delivering on the outcomes of COP26 in Glasgow and COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, and to accelerate efforts for ambitious global climate action, particularly in the Indo-Pacific. The Prime Ministers underscored their commitment to encourage climate action in accordance with each country's nationally determined contributions. They are ensuring energy security, job creation, poverty reduction, and continuing international collaboration, including through the Quad, the G20, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and the International Solar Alliance ISA. Prime Minister Albanese welcomed Prime Minister Modi's outline of his call for environmentally conscious, sustainable lifestyles through the LIFE movement. Both nations highlighted the importance of opportunities for two-way investment in grid infrastructure and the entire spectrum of renewable energy technologies. They welcomed Round 15 of the Australia-India Strategic Research Fund. The Prime Ministers also announced the India-Australia Innovation and Technology Challenge, building on the success of the inaugural India-Australia Circular Economy Hackathon in 2021, and welcomed the signing of a supporting letter of intent between CSIRO, Australia's National Science Agency, and Atal Innovation Mission Niti Aayog for greater collaboration in fostering innovation. The Prime Ministers recalled the participation of Australia as a partner country in the 7th Bengaluru Space Expo and expressed their belief that more India-Australia collaboration in the field of space should be fostered, including scientific research, space applications and production and launch of satellites. The Prime Ministers also announced the first round of Australia's India-focused International Space Investment Grants Programme. India and Australia look forward to deepening their engagement within the Coalition for Disaster-Resilient Infrastructure, particularly to enhance resilience of small island developing states. Both countries will channel their pledged $10 million Australian through the Infrastructure Resilience Accelerator Fund launched at COP27 to support SIDS under Infrastructure for Resilient Island States initiative of CDRI. They expressed satisfaction at the initiatives being undertaken under the umbrella of Joint Working Group for Water Resources Management through technical exchanges and execution of demonstrative projects, leading to institutional capacity building for meeting the challenges of the water sector. The Prime Minister supported the convening this year of the 2+2 Defence and Foreign Ministerial Dialogue and the meeting of the Defence Ministers, which would enhance mutual understanding and coordination of engagements between the two countries. In recognition of India-Australia's robust maritime partnership, they welcomed that Australia would host Exercise Malabar in 2023 for the first time. They agreed this would bolster interoperability between participating navies. The Prime Ministers welcomed the commencement of the inaugural landmark of the General Rawat's India-Australia Young Officer Defence Exchange Programme from the 1st of March this year. The 15-day programme, with participation of 15 officers from each of the two countries, is currently underway in India. Australia looks forward to hosting Indian Armed Forces officers in 2024. The Prime Minister strongly condemned terrorism in all its forms and manifestations and emphasized the need for strengthened international cooperation to combat terrorism in a comprehensive and sustained manner and to combat all those who encourage, support and finance terrorism or provide sanctuary to terrorists and terror groups. They noted the significant progress in the ongoing negotiations on a migration and mobility partnership arrangement. The Prime Ministers underlined the importance of being able to exercise rights and freedoms in all seas and oceans consistent with international law, particularly the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, including freedom of navigation and overflight. Prime Minister Albanese looked forward to working closely with India to advance Quad's positive and practical agenda, including welcoming Prime Minister Modi to Australia for the 2023 Quad Leaders Summit. They agreed to continue their close cooperation under various multilateral mechanisms such as ISA, Coalition for Disaster Resilience Infrastructure, East Asia Summit and Indian Ocean Rim Association. They affirmed the centrality of the Pacific Islands Forum and its 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific continent in addressing regional challenges. Both countries expressed their deep concern at the deteriorating situation in Myanmar and expressed concern about the conflict and humanitarian situation in Ukraine. They condemned North Korea's continued destabilizing ballistic missile launches that violate relevant UNSC resolutions, UNSCRs. Prime Minister Albanese congratulated India on assuming the chairmanship of the Wassenaar arrangement and reiterated Australia's strong support for India's membership of the Nuclear Suppliers Group and appreciation for India's participation in the Australia Group as its most recent member. Prime Minister Albanese provided Prime Minister Modi with an update on the development of the Australia-UK-US AUKUS partnership. Prime Minister Albanese also reaffirmed Australia's commitment to not develop nuclear weapons and uphold the highest standards of non-proliferation. The Prime Ministers reiterated their firm commitment to provide humanitarian assistance to the Afghan people in view of the deteriorating humanitarian situation and also reaffirmed calls on those in positions of power across Afghanistan to adhere to counter-terrorism commitments and human rights in accordance with UNSCR 2593. Prime Minister Albanese thanked Prime Minister Modi for the warmth and hospitality extended to him and to the members of his delegation during his state visit to India and extended an invitation to Prime Minister Modi to visit Australia.
This is All India Radio giving you the world news. Newly elected President of Nepal, Ramchandra Paudal, took the oath of office and secrecy on Monday at Sheetal Niwas in Kathmandu. The office of the President hosted a special ceremony at Sheetal Niwas to administer the oath to President-elect Paudal, after which political leaders, dignitaries and ambassadors of different countries in Nepal came to congratulate the new President. More from our correspondent.
Ramchandra Paudal, veteran Nepali Congress leader, was elected the President of Nepal by the Electoral College on March 9, defeating Subhash Chandra Nemwang. Acting Chief Justice of Nepal, Hari Krishna Karki, administered the oath of office and secrecy to the newly elected President today. The Constitution of Nepal has a provision that there would be a president in the country, and the president, as a patrol of the Constitution, shall work to promote national unity. It is the president's main responsibility to comply with and protect the Constitution. The country had adopted the practice of the president system with the establishment of a republic as an outcome of the 2006 April uprising in Nepal, which led to the demolition of 240-year-old monarchy. According to the Constitution of Nepal, the term of the president is 5 years from the date of his or her election to the post, and the person cannot be elected as a president for more than 2 terms. Shweta Singh for World News, Kathmandu.
South Korea and the United States on Monday kicked off their largest joint military exercises in 5 years. The US-South Korea exercises, called Freedom Shield, are scheduled to run for 11 days and will focus on the changing security environment. The drills between the two nations include a computer simulation and several combined field training exercises. South Korean officials said the field exercises would be scaled back to the size of the Allies' previous largest field training, which was held in 2018. Meanwhile, North Korea test-fired 2 strategic cruise missiles from a submarine on Sunday in an apparent protest of the drills it views as an invasion rehearsal. The US and South Korea say the exercises are in self-defense and are necessary to counter the rising threats from North's ballistic missile and nuclear weapons program, which are banned by UN Security Council resolutions. In Pakistan, the mastermind of the 17th of February terror attack on the Karachi police office and his accomplice were killed during an encounter, the Counter-Terrorism Department CTD said on Monday. Iriadullah, the mastermind behind the attack, was gunned down after the CTD acted on a tip-off near the northern bypass in the Mangofir area of the metropolis. The 2 terrorists, including the mastermind, were killed during an exchange of fire, while 2 others were arrested. The CTD official said Iriadullah, according to the CTD, was a commando of the banned Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan (TTP) Karachi, while the second terrorist killed was identified as Abdul Wahid. Last month, 3 terrorists with suicide jackets entered the multi-story Karachi police office building. All 3 terrorists were killed in the operation, and 4 persons, including 2 policemen and a Sindh Ranger sub-inspector, also died in the operation that lasted for more than 4 hours. The Electoral Commission of Pakistan ECP on Sunday postponed by polls on 37 National Assembly seats scheduled for the 16th of this month in Sindh, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan and Islamabad in compliance with the orders issued by various courts. By-polls were scheduled to be held in over 60 National Assembly seats this month. The National Assembly seats fell vacant as the electoral watchdog denotified Imran Khan-led Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf lawmakers after Speaker Raja Parvez Ashraf accepted their resignations. More than 120 members of the National Assembly belonging to the PTI tendered their resignations en masse after Imran Khan's government was ousted through a no-confidence motion in April last year. The Law Enforcement Agency of Bangladesh Rapid Action Battalion RAB arrested 9 members of the recently formed terror outfit Jamaatul Ansar fil Hind al-Sharqiyya from the hilly Bandarban area in the southeastern part of the country. Didar Hussain alias Masoom, who is the training commander of Jamaatul Ansar, was also arrested along with 8 of his other accomplices, said the Legal and Media Wing Director of RAB, Khandakar Al-Moin, to the media on Monday. He said that RAB recovered a cache of arms and ammunition during the drive conducted in the Tonkaborti area of Bandarban. He further said that the newly formed terror group has been receiving training and arms from the separatist group Kuki Chin National Front KNF, active in the Bandarban area. The Rapid Action Battalion has been conducting a special drive against the terror groups active in the Bandarban Hill area for over 6 months now. Till now, 68 members of the new militant outfits have been arrested. 38 people were arrested from the Chattogram Hill tracks and 2 of them died, said Khandakar Al-Moin. 17 members of the armed separatist group Kuki Chin National Front have also been arrested so far. He said that the law enforcement agencies came to know about the new terror outfit Jamaatul Ansar fil Hind al-Sharqiyya while they were investigating the case of the sudden disappearance of some youths from their homes last year. Earlier in January, RAB had arrested 2 top-ranking functionaries of the terror group from the Kutupalong Rohingya camp in Cox's Bazar. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has ruled out a bailout from the federal government for bankrupt Silicon Valley Bank. In an interview, she said that during the financial crisis, there were investors and owners of systemic large banks that were bailed out, but they are not going to do that again. The Treasury Secretary said they are concerned about depositors and are focused on trying to meet their needs. The bank's failure has also raised concern about a repeat of the 2008 financial crisis, but Yellen sought to reassure Americans that the collapse is an isolated incident. She emphasized that the American banking system is really safe, well capitalized and resilient. California regulators shut down Silicon Valley Bank on Friday after depositors rushed to withdraw money last week and concerns about its balance sheet. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, was appointed receiver, and regulators are working to find a buyer for the institution, which ranked as the 16th largest bank in the U.S. before its failure. In business news, domestic share markets ended with losses for the third consecutive session today, declining around 1.5% amid mixed global cues. A report.
The Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange dropped 897 points or 1.52% to end at 58,238. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange fell 259 points or 1.49% to settle at 17,154. Asian markets ended mixed as U.S. government stepped in with a series of emergency measures to shore up confidence in the banking system following failure of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. American regulators have said that SVB depositors will have access to all of their money starting today. Hong Kong's Hang Seng gained 1.9%, China's Shanghai Composite rose 1.2%, and South Korea's Kospi closed up by 0.7%. However, Singapore's Straits Times Index declined 1.4%. Japan's Nikkei 225 slipped 1.1%. European markets were trading lower in intraday trade. Oil prices fell for the fifth consecutive session as the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank in the United States raised fears of a fresh financial crisis, but a recovery in Chinese demand provided support. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at around $81.43 per barrel. Back home, gold prices at the multi-commodity exchange for April contracts was trading at around 56,978 rupees per 10 grams, while silver was trading at 64,750 rupees per kilogram for May contracts when reports last came in. S. Rangabashyam for AIR News.
On to sports now. The fourth and final test match of the Border Gavaskar Trophy between India and Australia ended in a draw at Ahmedabad on Monday. In the second inning, the visitors scored 175 for 2 wickets. On Sunday, with the help of Virat Kohli's century of 186 runs, the hosts scored 571. Kohli had good support from Akshar Patel. Earlier, Shubman Gill's sparkling century gave India a solid standing in the game. India booked their place in the final of the World Test Championship and will face Australia after New Zealand defeated Sri Lanka by 2 wickets in Christchurch. The ICC in a tweet said that Australia and India will face off in the World Test Championship final at the Oval from the 7th of June to the 11th. And now let's take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Washington Post reports, Biden says the banking system is safe after failure of Silicon Valley Bank. The Globe and Mail reports, China diverts some researchers to Canada after US visa denials. The Financial Times writes, Xi Jinping vows to make Chinese military Great Wall of Steel as tensions rise with West. South China Morning Post reports, global financial activities see gravity shift from Western hubs towards Asia. And now a quick look at the headlines once again. India's Natu Natu song from film RRR and documentary short film The Elephant Whisperers win Oscar in the 95th Academy Awards ceremony in Los Angeles. Former French Prime Minister Edouard Philippe to visit India from 14th to 17th of March to boost bilateral economic ties. Nepali Congress leader Ramchandra Paudel sworn in as the President of Nepal. South Korea and US kick off their largest joint military exercises. Mastermind of Karachi police officer attack killed in encounter. Bangladesh RAB arrests 9 members of terror outfit Jamaatul Ansar fil Hind al-Sharqiya. Fourth and final test match between India and Australia ends in a draw in Ahmedabad. And India qualify for World Cricket Test Championship final to face Australia at the Oval in London. And now before we end, let's listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan, by artists from Holy See.
Pade
And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.